I don't know about your businesses, but on a nuclear-powered submarine, we're all men. Well, now there's women, but on my ship there were just all men. And we said we had this, you know, we only can talk in terms of certainty, and there's the enemy, and attack, and Iraq needs to be liberated, and they're going to welcome us with open arms, and there's no, like, discussion. Well, what if they don't? So this is where you need to practice your language. Language of dissent, language of diverse opinion, language of ambiguity. Well, it could be, but it could also be this. Language of uncertainty, language of emotions, gut feelings. We don't like to talk about these things. Hunches. You know, it just doesn't feel like the right thing to do. Yes, data is great, and I got that. The language of thinking. What am I thinking? And I talk about this in the book, some of these. There are mechanisms for doing all these things. And practice, 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 practice. It's no good to go create some language and never practice. So for example, one of the things that we would do is when we would run a drill, we needed a word for someone if they were about to do something and the drill monitor knew that it was the wrong thing to do, we needed them to stop. So this is the language of dissent. So the word was hands off. So what would happen is we'd run drills, and 9 drills out of 10 would go fine, and no one would ever have to say hands off. But every once in a while, the drill monitor would have to say hands off. And there was a big stigma. Oh, you were about to screw up. Hands off. And the guys who were given the instruction to hands off, that were sort of, you know, they would get emotional and bristly. And so we said, look, nonsense. We're just going to practice this. Every drill, there's going to be one hands off. You know, we just plan it. At some point, someone's going to say hands off somewhere in the engine room or somewhere in the submarine to somebody, even if they're doing the right thing. And it took all the angst out of it. Hands off, continue. But you got to practice, okay? Here's another one. After I did all the submarine stuff, my last job, I was running the Navy's Deep Blue internal think tank in the Pentagon. And we'd be asked our opinion. Now, the practice before was, what's the consensus? Right? Should we nuke Syria for using chemical weapons or not? Well, there's 100 people, and 51 say yes, and 49 say no. Well, what's the consensus? Well, I guess it's yes. Boom. There was no complexity to the discussion. So instead of don't ask that question. Don't say, is this the right decision? When you're at the next meeting, does everyone agree? Everyone agree? Oh, no. After the whole group has come to a decision, I'm going to raise my hand and say, I don't agree. Are you stupid? No one's going to do that. Studies show 85% of meetings are farce. They're theater, right? They were showed to show that we had a group that gave credibility to a decision that everybody knows is already made. 15% of meetings are actual conversations. Those are the ones you want to have. So I would say, so give people cards. Here's a way to do it. Give everyone a 7-deck card. And it goes 1, 10, you see the numbers. And don't ask, did Syria use chemical weapons or not? Say, what's the probability that Syria used chemical weapons? And have them slide a card out on the table. You get a much better understanding of what the group is thinking. If they're all thinking like you, fire them, because you're just wasting your money, because you already know what you think.